Good morning. How are you diddling? Excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another episode of Dazed, Confused, and Generally Buggered. If you don't know who I am, I'm Simon Scholes. I am the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency, and we're based in the UK, but we help brands and businesses around the world create content that really helps them stand out on their social media channels, be it video or animation work or aerial work or photography. But one of the things I also try to do is help you create content yourself for free, stuff you can do yourself within your business that won't cost you a penny, but will really help you grow your social media channels, really help you get yourself out there digitally, grow your brand. And right now, obviously, we're in a time of struggle. We're all in lockdown. We're kind of all going through the motions a little bit. We're a little bit dazed, confused, and generally buggered. We're not really sure what's going on. So now is the time to really double down on number one. Don't forget, you can still sell. People still have money to spend. Just got to look at how you're going to be doing the selling rather than just being really forceful with it. And number two, you can still do marketing. You can still create content. You can still put your brand out there for people to find out about, for people to learn about the value that you've got to give, what you can offer them. So don't stop putting content out, and definitely don't stop selling either. So welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. If you are brand new or if you are a regular, make sure you say in the comments that you've come to join us, and we're going to chat all about brand today. Hello to Azad Boy, who's joined us on Twitch, and Ed, who's watching on Facebook. Absolutely. I was just about to mention that as well. He's saying, good morning, Simon, and happy St. George's Day. Happy St. George's Day, Ed. It is also Shakespeare Day, National Shakespeare Day, which I'll talk about a little bit on some of my social media channels and maybe mention it on here later on. But the subject matter of the day today on the stream, as well as answering your questions. If you've got any questions about social media, about video, throw them in, as many as you can, and I'll answer as many of them as I possibly can do about social media and video. But today's subject matter that I'm going to chat about in between the questions is going to be about Instagram and how you can get your Instagram performing a little bit better for your brand, for your business, even for you personally. If you want to try and take yourself as a personal brand further, then you can actually do some stuff with your Instagram channel that will really help you. So we're going to chat about that this morning. If you didn't catch it yesterday, I thoroughly recommend going back to watch yesterday's Dazed and Confused. Probably one of the best episodes yet. We went on for 50 odd minutes. I was chatting to Alan Spicer, who is a YouTube expert, works with the guys over at vidIQ as well, and really knew his stuff. There was so much value in yesterday's live stream. Trust me, if you are looking to grow your YouTube channel in any way, shape or form, you've got to go and check it out. It's 56 minutes long. It is a long stream, so maybe break it up into little bits or little segments. It's also available as a podcast now, so you can listen to that. And I've got a load of edited videos out of it too, which I'm going to start uploading onto my How to 9 Times Your Social Media group, which you can join right now. It doesn't cost you a penny. It's on Facebook. That's how it's spelled, How to 9X Your Social Media. Go and join that group on Facebook right now, and you get to go and watch that video. I know some of the smaller videos that I'm going to upload, so if you don't want to watch the full 56 minutes, you can watch the shorter pieces of content I'm going to upload. But so much value in yesterday's content, so much. And Ed, in fact, we actually talked about the question that you asked me the day before about monetization, and we had a little bit of a differing viewpoint. But you need to go and check out the stream to see what he was talking about. Some really cool ideas in there, but an absolutely brilliant one. Ed has watched it. Some great info on YouTube. Brilliant. And some of the stuff Ed has said, I recommend not editing posts on Instagram as it affects your post reach, i.e. your post will be seen by less people. I'm guessing you mean editing after the effect of actually putting it up, or do you mean actually editing the photo in the first place? Let me know in the comments. Absolutely. Anyway, we are going to go on about social media today, and specifically Instagram. I'm going to take you through, I wrote a blog a while ago, my 19 top tips for growing your Instagram channel. We are not going to do all 19 right now, but I'm going to go through 6 or 7 of my top tips and any of your questions as well. And yes, we'll go through that. So, right. Shall we go to point number one? Okay, so point number one, if I can get it coming up and just get rid of that, scrolling along the bottom there right now, is my first tip for growing your Instagram channel. How regular is your content on Instagram? So many people I know want to grow their Instagram channels, want their content to be seen by a wider audience, but they're not actually posting often enough in any way, shape, or form. They may be posting once a week. And when you don't already have an audience, that means your content is probably getting cannibalized by the feed unless your audience is very interactive. So what you want to be doing is posting more regularly, more often. You know who your avatar is. We've spoken about this on a regular basis. If you know who your ideal customer is, whether they're male or female, you'll know when they're online and you'll know when they're on Instagram. So then you can post content specifically to them at those particular moments. Now, they might be at home after work once this is all finished and we're all actually back into the workplace. They might be going back to work and then coming home, spending a bit of time with the kids and then just chilling out on the sofa at about 8 o'clock in the evening. Perfect. In that case, start posting your content at that time. But you know who your avatar is. You know when they're likely to be online. It could be lunchtimes. It could be during the day. It could be early mornings, whenever. Make sure you're posting regular content to them on a regular basis. Once a day just isn't enough. A piece of content, if you are lucky, will last 8 hours on Instagram. So if you are trying to hit your audience, you want to be looking at posting far more often than that. So you're dropping into the feed on a regular basis, whether that's 3 times a day or more than that. Once a day, fine. You're posting once a day. It's more than most people do. But if you can up your game just a little bit and just slightly change the message in your description, which we'll talk about in a wee while as well, then you're going to be onto a true winner because more people are going to be seeing your content. Ed's asking a question, which is a really important one, actually, and I'll come to that in just a moment. So I'll finish this question off and then we'll come to that question. So yes, consistent content. Like I say, if you can, especially right now while we're in quieter times, we've got less work on, if you can post more than once a day, brilliant, get it out there. And all you have to do is just slightly alter your description, slightly alter the image, post a different image, maybe a different message from your description, but it's all pointing towards the same value that you're giving, and just make life a little bit easier for yourself. But you can post those pieces of content maybe 2 or 3 times a day. You've got more chances of people then clicking from that and going to your profile, because that's what you want. Is you want the profile visits. If people come to your profile, they've got more chance of seeing more content. They've got more chance of getting more value. They've got more chance of actually starting to follow you as a channel. Most people will not follow a channel off one photo alone, unless it is an absolutely, oh my God, that's blown me away kind of photo. Okay, so get more regular, more consistent with your content. We'll come to point number 2 for Instagram growth tips in just a moment. However, Ed asked this question, which is quite an interesting one. How important is it on Instagram to post posts that are the correct size? So it's really important if you want your feed to look neat and tidy. And you do. Perfection is never important. Like I say, you don't want perfection. It's not the most important thing. However, getting an image where people can actually see everything on the image is really important. If you've got an image, let me see if I can give you an example. So, for example, if I took my thumbnail for these videos, which is Dazed and Confused and Generally Buggered, so let me just find that for you right now. It's here on my phone somewhere. There it is. Okay. So that image right there is 1080 by 1920. However, Instagram, when you put it in the feed, when you go to your feed and look at somebody's actual profile, it is actually a square. So you've got no chance of everybody being able to see all of that. In fact, what's going to happen is Instagram's going to do that with your image. So they probably won't be able to read the text, they won't be able to see your image, they won't be able to see your company name. So actually making sure that the content, or at least the most important part of the content, is within the main image is really, really important. Now you can resize stuff so that it kind of fits and stuff like that, but it's not that important. Trust me, just getting it right in the instance and making sure that the focal point of the image is actually available within that feed, on your main feed, on your profile, is really, really important. because you don't want people to get confused and walk away from the content just because they can't actually read what it is that you've got to say, read any of the value, get drawn into the content in any way, shape, or form. It comes back to a little bit of like we were talking about yesterday about thumbnails on YouTube videos and how important those are. It's exactly the same. Treat every single image that you post as a thumbnail. If people aren't going to get drawn into the content to see more of it, then what's the point in posting it in the first place? Quick good morning to the ugliest freaking cat. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. This is Days Confused and Generally Buggered. It's a daily show that I do. I talk to other businesses, I talk to other brands, I get other people talking to me about what they do in their businesses and brands and on their social media, and try and give them as much social media help as I possibly can do in social media and specifically video. So there you go. That's what it's all about. If you want to know who I am, go back and watch the beginning of the video after this is all finished. Nishitrana45 says, wash hands. Absolutely. Wash your hands every 20 minutes or so. If you're able to, absolutely. Or use hand sanitizer and all that kind of malarkey. So thank you very much for joining us as well, Nishitrana, who's watching on YouTube, and the ugliest freaking cat was on Twitch. So cool. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Anyway, so right, shall we go on to my Instagram growth tip number 2 this morning, talking all about Instagram, how you can grow your brand and your business Instagram pages. And also, if you've got any questions at all about social media, about video, chuck them in the comments right now. We can either get you live on the stream and we can have a chat, or if you prefer, I can just answer your question there and then and move on to my next bit. So, right, okay, we've answered Ed's question. Moving on to the next one. Hashtags. Do you use hashtags on your Instagram? Now, there are 2 rules of thought on this. And some people are saying, no, you shouldn't. And some people are saying, yes, you should. My absolute rule of thumb is yes, you should. You're trying to make your content as searchable as you humanly possibly can. And as much as Alan said yesterday, yes, hashtags are a little bit stupid, they will still help your content get found better than if you don't put any hashtags into your content whatsoever. So if you want your content to grow on Instagram, 100% use your hashtags. You have the capability of using up to 30 hashtags on Instagram. Now, I'm not necessarily saying use all 30, but definitely use a large chunk of that and get intelligent about the ones that you're using. So don't just use the ones that are massive, because if you don't have a huge audience on Instagram, your content is just going to get swallowed up by those people who do and are getting all the likes. So if you chose a hashtag, for example, I mentioned this the other day, you're an accountant, and so you use the hashtag accountancy. Now, there's probably going to be millions of people using that hashtag, and there are going to be some accounting influencers who use that hashtag. Their content's going to get liked by 10, 20, 30,000 people. So that hashtag is going to feed them up to the top of the feed before they're going to feed you. So if somebody says accountants or accountancy, then your content's going to be further down in the feed. Now, you could get a little bit more clever about it and try and find the accountant hashtags that don't have as many people following them, so then your content can rise to the top, can be the one that people are seeing more often. So if somebody is looking for an accountant in Newbury, perhaps, but you haven't hashtag accountant Newbury, then your content will be there. Or if you use accountant West Berkshire or accountant Hampshire or accountant Yorkshire, then your content's got a better chance of rising to the top of the feed. So then you've got a better chance of being seen. So hashtags are really important. Try to use as many of them as you possibly can do. There are tools out there that can really help you with this as well. I mentioned one the other day when I was chatting to Siobhan. Tailwind is a brilliant one. You can post about 30 posts, I think it is, or 35 posts for free with Tailwind, and then you have to pay for it. But it will also help you with your hashtagging. It will help you with scheduling your content as well at the best possible times. It's a really, really cool little tool. So check that one out, Tailwind. It's an app. I think it's available on both Android and on the iStore as well. And the other one that I downloaded recently, which I think is great, is called Hashtag, and that one, you give it the 5 most keyword hashtags that you feel that are within your content, and then it will find hashtags that tie back into those and then generate 30 of those for you, and then you can copy and paste those within your content. The one thing I would recommend is not using the same hashtags every single time that you're posting. Have some standardized ones that you're going to use. So for example, if you have a hashtag for your brand, for your business, like my hashtag is how to 9 times your social media. So if you talk about my content, or if I talk about my content on any of my social media channels, that's the hashtag that is generally always there within my content. Then you turn it so you can use the standardized ones, but don't have too many of them, maybe 4 or 5, something like that, and then have completely different ones every single time. Because if you use the same hashtags every single time on every single piece of content, then you will get blacklisted. Whether Instagram like to admit it or not, there is a blacklist out there. You will get blacklisted. Your content will not get fed out to your audience, and you will not get seen. So make sure that doesn't happen by using different hashtags on a regular basis, switching them up, changing them up. You might have certain hashtags that perform really well for your content. Brilliant. Use those ones, but make sure you change up all the others. You've got 30 hashtags you can use. Make sure that you may be giving them a try. And let's have a quick look at the comments. Ed McIntyre saying, your audio is great, by the way. This microphone, I am absolutely astounded by how good it is. This and the arm that it's on and the spit mic and everything, 60 quid on Amazon, and I cannot get over how good it is. It's called a Newer. So yeah, £62 it was. I'll put a link to it in the section below this video. If you don't mind, I'll make an affiliate link. So if you don't have a microphone and you want to buy one, this really is. I'm really astounded by how good the quality is for such a cheap microphone. I really am. And I'm not in a soundproof chamber or anything like that. So yeah, outstanding quality for the price. So thank you very much, Ed. And thanks for bringing that up. So then on with the Instagram tips to help you grow your brand, your business on Instagram. These are just little things that you can do just to make a big difference for your content. This isn't necessarily going to bring you customers, but it'll help you reach more people. Trust me. So tip number 3, your profile. Your profile is such an important thing to update. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my profile to show you on the desktop. And because your profile is so important, there's so much you can do with your profile. And you can get more in than you really could ever imagine. So let me just do this. If I share my screen right now and we say share that. Cool. Okay, so we're sharing my screen, multiple screens, but there we go. Okay. So hopefully that's showing in my screen right now. Yes, it is. Brilliant. So this is my Instagram right now. That's the blog I wrote. You can go and see that if you want to at some point or another. I'll link that up in the section below. But anyway, so this is my Instagram feed right here. And it says exactly who I am. It says what I used to do, what it is I do, my contact details. Now, you can put all these things in, and they're actually clickable on the app as well. If you turn your content, your channel into being a business page. We'll talk about that in a moment. But one of the big things that you can do is put a link in there. Now, you may have heard, I'm going to come back to here. You may have heard of apps called Linktree and other websites of the same ilk. Now, these are places where you can put in all your social media links, and then people will actually be able to click that link and go there, and all your social media links will be on that page. Now, if you don't have a website, absolutely, I recommend doing this, because then it makes it really easy for people to go, well, I want to see what else they do. Click, brilliant, there's all their social media links. However, if you do have a website, why in God's name would you send traffic to an external website when you could send traffic to your own website? So what I've done on my Instagram is I'll share my screen again, and we'll go here and we'll go like that. We'll do this, and I have my own website, perceptionstudios.co.uk, and I have my social links available right there. It's a hidden page. If you go to my website, generally you won't find it, but if you click on it, it pulls up a special page which I've created on my website, with all my social media links on there. And literally, people can then just click and it will take them to different podcasts, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat. Tells them my TikTok name because you can't link a TikTok at the moment, but I'm sure that will change. So I 100% recommend, if you're going to create some sort of link page and you have a website, do not use an external website. There is absolutely no point. If you're going to draw people to a link page, you might as well draw them to your website, because there's a good chance they might go, well, hang on a minute, they've got all these links here. Great, I know about that. But what else do they do? And go and have a look around your website and see some of the other stuff that you potentially do, some of the free value that you might give, maybe the free Skype calls that I give out on my account, that kind of stuff, some of the blogs you might have written, some of the products you might sell. So 100%, if you have a website, do not use external sites like Linktree. Use your own website, create your own page, hide the page. It doesn't have to be seen by people, but that way you are drawing traffic to your website and not some external website, which is not going to help you in any way, shape or form. It's only going to help them. All you're going to do is potentially get a click through from it, but all that's going to do is help Linktree. All that's going to do is help those other link-based websites. So don't use Linktree. So set up your profile right, get it to say who you are, what it is that you do, all that kind of stuff. You've only got limited characters, but make the most of them, make good use of them. My old profile was even more driven to exactly what we were looking to do as a business when it was for the video studio. Now I have my own Instagram for the video studio, my own personal one. So yeah, really important. Ed on the comments just there, didn't realize about blacklisting by using the same hashtags. Thanks for informing me. I'll start changing them up a bit. Thanks for the tip. Not a problem. And like I say, it's not to say you can't use the same hashtags now and again. So like use maybe 4 or 5 of the same hashtags every single time you post, because you want those standardized ones that are connected to you or maybe perform really well for you, but change the rest of them up. You've got so many hashtags. Don't copy and paste the same ones every single time, because remember as well, it's not always going to be relevant to the content you're putting out. So you've got to change them up a little bit. It's the same as on YouTube. You can have your set description that you have uploaded every time, you set tags that come up every single time, but then you have the stuff that you change every single time because your content's always changing. So make sure you make good use of those. Okay, so that is tip number 3 on Instagram growth and how you can help your Instagram grow for your brand and your business. If you've got any questions at all, by the way, if you're sat watching right now and you're on maybe YouTube, or you're on Twitch, or on Facebook, or you're on Periscope, or on Twitter, wherever it is that you're watching. In fact, let's have a quick check of Twitter. Make sure we don't have any questions there right now. Okay, some of the guys from 11's Hour are watching again. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Yeah, so if you've got any questions at all, chuck them at me. They'll either come into my feed, or I can go and check my Twitter now and again and see if you've got any tweets out there. Any questions whatsoever, and we'll do our best to answer them about social media and about video as well. Hopefully you're still watching on Twitch as well, which would be really cool. New people watching on Twitch, I do like that. It's I've never really used Twitch, so it's good fun. Right, okay, Instagram growth tip number 4. Something I talk about all the time with all social media, not just with Instagram. Go and talk to people. Social media is about being social. There's one important word in those 2 words, social and media. So be social. It's so important. And if people are commenting on your content, respond to them. Do you really want to be that dick that gets maybe 3 comments on an Instagram post and doesn't respond to any of the people who've actually commented on their post? Of course you don't. You want to be that brand, that business that people go, whoa, they always come back to me. It's so cool. I always hear back from them. They always respond. When you hear back from somebody you really admire, you don't hear back from them and then go, right, that was a load of rubbish. You hear back from them, you got a big smile on your face. You're like, wow, okay, Gary Vaynerchuk just retweeted me, or Gary Vaynerchuk came back to me on TikTok, or Grant Cardone spoke to me, or Brad Pitt retweeted my tweet, or whatever it might be. When they actually respond to that content that you've put out, or that comment that you've put out, it puts a big smile on your face. Now, these people are taking time out of their day to actually put a comment on your content. So take the time out of your day to respond to them. Now, if you're getting thousands of comments every single day, I'm not suggesting you sit there and respond to all of them, because you're not going to have the time to do that. But have a little bit of an ego drag back and sit down and respond to a few of the people who are leaving comments on your content. It is such a big difference. When I used to run a YouTube channel for a couple of other YouTubers, and I was putting their content out and responding to people's comments when I was first posting the live content, and people were so chuffed when they were getting this response from the channel, because it was just like, wow, this person actually gives a damn about me. It really makes a big difference. So 100% respond to people's comments. Just like Ed has just mentioned there, Lucas Wadaby, Leeds United legend, likes and replied to my Instagram post the other day where I wished him happy birthday, and he was buzzing. And all he said was happy birthday. And Lucas came back to him and obviously just said, thank you very much and stuff, and liked the post. That's all it takes. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take a lot for you to make a big difference in somebody's day and then become more impassioned in your brand and in your business and what content you're actually putting out. So start talking to people. And that also means reaching out to other people within your niche and talking to them on social media, and specifically on Instagram, because that's what we're talking about today. And also reaching out to people on other people's Instagram posts. So if somebody's posted, for example, Gary Vaynerchuk, he gets thousands of people comment on his Instagrams every single day. Some people reaching out for help, some people just saying hello. Now, he's not got time to respond to all those people, neither do his team. And those people don't generally have a lot of money to spend, but they're big fans of his content. Now, you know they like his content. So if you're a social media expert, why would you not then dive in there and just say, oh, I might be able to help with that. Here's some value that you could get. And you're not trying to sell anything. You're just giving them some value. If you're a beauty expert, why would you not reach out onto other makeup artist channels who have got a huge audience, don't generally have the time to respond to people, and give some value? Those people might potentially come back, look at your content and go, wow, they got a load of value as well, and start becoming a fan. It's all about being social on social media. So start doing that on Instagram as well. Ed asks the question, how long of a gap should be between posts? So say I'm going to post 3 times today. My first one goes out at 11 a.m. When should I post the next one? Okay, so interesting question. Actually, I'm going to leave that up because, as I mentioned, so on Instagram, the rule of thumb is a piece of content would last 8 hours. We are obviously in a very different time right now, and people are consuming social media content all the time. All the time, people are on these. You go out for your walk, people are still on these. So actually, people are consuming more content now. So that time scale has probably dropped down. In fact, it's probably plummeted to around about 5.5, 6 hours for a piece of content. Now, I'm not suggesting that you post 4 pieces of content every single day. But if you're trying to hit a global audience and knowing that your content is for Leeds United, so Leeds United is a global brand, then you still want your content to potentially reach people in different parts of the world. So what you want to do is obviously, number one, the next tip I'm going to come up to, I think it's the next one. No, tip number 6, but I'm going to talk about setting up your account as a business. Now, when you set your account up as a business, you can actually look more deeply into the analytics. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you know where your audience are actually consuming your content, where they are in the world, then you would post your content or your best piece of content then and try and post more content to them. Basically, what I'm saying is try and post 3 times in the day, probably 8 hours gap in between, so that you're still hitting that 8-hour period, maybe 7 hours, but potentially every 8 hours. That means you probably don't have to get up in the middle of the night to post, but let's say, so 11 o'clock, so your next piece of content would go out at 7. That would mean you have to get up in the middle of the night, which isn't ideal. But you might then also go, right, okay, well, 7 o'clock at night is, I don't know, let's say 1 o'clock in the afternoon in New York, and that's where most of my audience is. Brilliant. Okay, well, if most of my audience is in New York, that means in a couple of hours, I could probably post another piece of content, so 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and that will still hit that audience because they'll still be awake. And then I'll wait until the next morning when I wake up and post my next piece of content. So that content is kind of drip fed out to potentially all your audiences. Do you kind of get what I'm trying to say? You've got to understand your audience a little bit better. But if you just want to go for a standardized rule, just post once every 8 hours and just try and make that 8-hour period work for your sleeping pattern. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to be knackered. Or at least just post as best around that 8-hour period if you can do. So if you post at 11 o'clock, post at 7, and then when you go to bed at 11 o'clock, post again then, and then the next morning start the process off again. Simple as. But try and post every 8 hours. Okay, so we've covered off talking to people. Cool, excellent. This is an interesting one, and a lot of people don't realize you can do this on Instagram. Sharing is caring. So there are apps that will allow you to regram people's content, which means you can take a piece of content that you really like on Instagram and you can post it on your feed, but it will be linked back to their account. So you're going, look, this is a piece of content created by Ben Brown, a friend of mine. And you go, this content, absolutely amazing. Love this piece of content. And I think you guys should like it as well. So then they come and they'll like it either on your feed or they'll click it and then go and have a look at his feed and like more of his content and so on and so forth. So sharing is one way of doing it, is doing what's called a regram. Like I say, you need to have an external app to do that. However, you can also, if you want to, when you are on Instagram, let me just dive into Instagram right now. Let me just get away from that photo because that's probably not the one you want me to post. Here we go. So here's a post from my mate Tommy Digital. He runs a digital agency called Enigma. Really cool agency. I've done some work for them in the past. And his tweet right now is punch today in the face. In other words, go out and succeed. That might fit really well with your audience. So what you do is you can actually, you see this little aeroplane here? If you tap that, it allows you to add his post to your Instagram story. So it'll only last for 24 hours, but you can say add to your story. And then I just say, for example, love this from, spell the word from right, from at Tommy Digital. Turn it into black so that it can be seen. There we go. We're ready to post it. I'll put stay at home there because that's really important. Also, you can put in a hashtag on there. Today, positive outlook. And also don't forget to say where you are in the world. So people who are looking up upon location can actually see your content as well, dropping into that. So I'll say I'm in Andover in the UK and we'll drop that there. So there we go, my Instagram story ready to post. And I just press send to, goes to my Instagram story and I'm done. And that is a really great way of sharing other people's content because now when you go to my Instagram story, and I'll go there right now, there he is. And if I tap on there, it brings up his content, his channel, and then you can tap there and it'll take you through to his channel, that piece of content. And that's a really great way of sharing other people's content on Instagram. So many people don't realize you can actually share content on Instagram and it'll make a big difference to them and potentially you as well, because hopefully they'll maybe start sharing your stuff if they feel they're going to get value from it. So remember, sharing is caring. Poor old Ed saying he's looking forward to his 3 hours sleep tonight. Yeah, seriously, just post at the best times that will work for you. But if you're going to post at 11 o'clock or you have posted at 11 o'clock, post something at maybe 6 and then post something just before you go to bed at like 10, 11, 12 o'clock, whatever time it is. And then it's kind of like splitting the day up. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect timing of every 8 hours, but then social media isn't a perfect science either. You have to break it up a little bit and make it work for your audience. So if you get more likes on content that are posted closer together for when your specific main audience is online, then that's when you want to be posting. We'll come to that in a second, though, like I say. So that's that one covered off. If you've got any questions at all about what I'm talking about, please do drop them into the comments. I'd love to hear from you. We've got Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, Sound 9 Times Your Social Media group, and the Perception Studios group as well, all tuned in at the moment. And if you haven't joined the How to 9 Times Your Social Media group, this is the group right here, How to 9x Your Social Media. I put videos out on there every single day, hints and tips, try and help as much as I possibly can do. Try and get you guys involved as much as I possibly can do as well. Get you involved, keep pushing your brand, pushing your business out there, getting more people to know about you. And on that group, the easiest place to get hold of it at the moment. You can download my free former #1 book, How to 9 Times Your Social Media, and you are able to then go through the entire process I take my clients through that will help them create content on their social media channels. So if you want to download that book and it won't cost you a penny, go to that group, join up, and then actually download the book for free. It will not cost you a penny. And if you don't even want to sign up to my newsletter, if you never want to hear from me again, if this is the last time you want to hear this dodgy northern accent, but you still want a hold of a copy of the book, that's fine. Just click no, I don't want to hear from them again, and download the book. You still get it. I just want you to start creating content now. Start putting something out there that will really help you grow your business and your brand, especially during these difficult times. Okay, shall we move on to the final tip? The final tip that's here right now, and then I may give you a 7th one. Set your profile up as a business. So you can be a personal profile where you just post photographs of yourself and your personal stuff, or you can be a business profile where you're posting your brand out there. Now, your brand might be your personal brand, that's fine, but still set it up as a business profile, or it could be a true business profile. The reason I suggest you set yourself up as a business profile is because of all the extra stuff that you're able to look at on your profile. Basically, you can set up your business profile and you can look at the analytics of your content. You can't do that on a personal profile. There's loads of benefits on there. You can look at impressions, the engagement, you can do data analytics, you can look at where people are, potentially what like kind of demographic range they're in, so how old they are, geographic age, like I say, where they are. There's so much information on there that will help you grow your channel. So many people don't use the analytics that are available to them to help them take their content that little bit further. So really, 100% turn your account into a business account. You can also, once you've turned your account into a business account, put in contact details so you can drop in an email address so people can tap that and it will open up their email and they can send you an email. You can put in there things like a contact place, so where you're actually based in the world, so they can tap on the map and find out where you are. So if you've got a shop, they can come and find you easily and do some purchasing from you at some point in the near future. So trust me, turning your account into being a business account will make a huge difference to your brand and your business. If you're just using it as a personal thing, do all the other stuff that I mentioned. If you want to take your personal thing further and turn it into more of a brand and become more of an influencer, specifically on Facebook, on Instagram, because you feel your content's worthy of that, then turn it into a business page, and that will make a big difference. Okay, I think that's pretty much all my Instagram tips for now. If you want to read all 19 of them, I will try to remember to link them up in the section below in my pants, whatever channel you're on, and then you can go and click on that and read the how to 9 times your not 9 times, how to 19 times your Instagram growth. So like 19 different Instagram growth tips, which will really help you out. And yeah, that's about it. I will talk till 40 minutes. So we've got another 2 minutes of you getting in touch. If you've got any questions about Instagram, about social media, about video, please do feel free to drop them into the comments right now, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them as I possibly can do. I don't have to stop at 40 minutes. I'm just saying I'll stop at 40 minutes now because the questions have died down a little bit. So yeah. But thank you so much for joining us today. It's been fun answering a few of the questions, all that kind of stuff. What else can I tell you? Oh yeah, as well as that, the next episode live tomorrow, 11ish, probably more likely 11:30. That seems to be the time he's going down to sleep. I have a toddler who goes to sleep, and when he goes to sleep, I go live. So if you've got any questions for tomorrow's feed or questions connected to today's feed that maybe we can answer tomorrow, drop them to me on an email. My email is going across the bottom at the moment, or maybe a bit like when you're in the classroom, you don't want to lift your hand up and go, excuse me, I want to ask this question because I feel I'll be really stupid. No question is a stupid question, first off, but if that's still how you feel, drop me an email with your question and I'll do my best to either we can answer it on the email, or we can have a Skype call together and answer it that way, or instead I can answer it on tomorrow's feed and just take all your details out of it so you don't have to feel daft, and we can still answer your question. So if you've got any questions whatsoever connected to today's video, drop them on the email and that will be absolutely fine. Let's have a quick check on the comments. Still got a few people watching, but Ed is the most active, 100%. Great stream. Appreciate all the info and the tips. Not a problem. Hopefully they help you. Like I say, you just got to get consistent. Start putting out more of your stuff. There's a lot of value you've got to give, so put it out there. And also, especially in your case, Ed, but anybody's case, if you've got long videos like this and you can edit out 60 seconds worth of content, then you can post that onto Instagram. Just remember, when you're posting onto Instagram, it will use the very first frame of the video as the image on Instagram. So make sure it's not an image of you, like, because that's what it will use. What I've been doing personally is creating an overlay which sits on top for the first 5 seconds or so of the video, which is basically a 1080 by 1080 image that is connected to Days Confused and Generally Buggered or whatever else my content might be. So that way, the first frame of the video that goes into your feed as your image on your Instagram feed isn't something that's going to make your feed look really crap. Because right now, obviously, I'm on 1080 by 1920. Well, that's not going to look that good when half the words are cut off and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I can't really show you where, but they'll probably cut off there and there. So this side would look all right, but this side would look really weird because it'd be a line down there. So just just be wary of that. But post video content up on there, podcast audio, all that kind of stuff. People love it. And the fact that now likes are being taken away and only you can see how many people have liked your content, even better, because you've got more chance of a good organic reach happening with your content. Anyway, right, I'm going to stop blabbing on right now, and I will see you tomorrow for another Days Confused and Generally Buggered and another live session. And tomorrow, I think we've got quite an interesting subject tomorrow, so don't miss out on it. And stay safe for the rest of your day. Don't forget, it is Thursday, so clap your NHS workers if you're in the UK. If you're not in the UK, clap your healthcare workers, whatever time of the day that you do that in your country, wherever you are, whatever city you're in. But in the UK, 8 o'clock tonight, make sure you're rattling those pots and pans and giving a round of applause. I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy. Bye.